Time for Steele and Vance. Thank you for joining us on your Thursday. Hope you didn't get too soaked out there.
Yeah, you know, this is not a popular opinion, but I'm not a fan of a lot of rain, persistent rain, all winter, all spring, January, and all the rest of it. And so I'm like, I would be happy if it doesn't rain. However, we need it because we are already warning about the fact that this could potentially be an even worse wildfire season.
We're already seeing evacuations. This is crazy.
Yeah, there are 100 fires burning in BC right now already. There's evacuation alerts. In fact, the BC Greens just came out today and said they want to have a full campfire and open fire ban in BC right now.
42% of wildfires in this province are started by people. So we got to be like,
look at what happened last year, just in case you forgot. I mean, last year was a nightmare, but the reality is, how many years in a row have we had smoke, drought,
heat domes,
people's homes burning down? So yeah,
terrible. I do have this one piece of good news before we jump into what's coming up on the show and viewing party and stuff, because the long-term forecast, I know this isn't your favorite thing when it comes to raining on your head, but you love good news like this, that relief for the dry-stricken BC interior, 10 days of rain in long-term
I don't,
forecast.
yeah. So I love a lot of rain?
No!
Not.
You love... I'm on your side in that you not liking it raining on your head doesn't mean you want drought in the interior.
I do not.
Exactly.
Do not at all.
I know what you do like too is when people play along in our viewing party when they tell you where they're watching from, right? So you can get in on it right now. You can send us your photos. It's brought to you by the BC Restaurant and Food Services Association. The prize up for grabs today is a $100 gift card for Tap and Barrel with their new location at Brentwood Mall as one of your options. I want that salad right this second, please. Viewing party at checkmedia.ca.
You can have all the vegetables in the salad and I'll have the rest of it.
Okay. Deal.
Okay, we have a lot of stuff on the show. One of the things that people are talking about right now is decriminalization, whether it's time to end the experiment in BC. We now have several mayors and councils coming out saying, hey, you know what, we're not happy with the fallout from decriminalization. We have thoughts. We all have thoughts.
We do.
Right?
The two of us are going to pontificate on our thoughts and see where we land, because if there was an obvious answer to this, it would already be happening. But the unintended consequences cannot be ignored. We also have an unbelievable guest in studio today.
This is a story about domestic violence, and you might remember the woman at the center of it all, Romana Monzur. This is just a taste of her story.
Why is it so hard to get out of an abusive relationship? Rather than looking at those women as victims, I want people to see how courageous those women are, because it's not easy to tolerate that kind of behavior from your intimate partner.
Her husband gouged her eyes out and bit part of her nose off. It's a crazy thing. Her story has been documented in a new book called Out of Darkness. And so in studio, we are going to have Romana Monzur, as she is now working as a lawyer in Vancouver with the Justice Department. And also the author is famous herself. Denise Chong is the author of The Concubine's Children. She's formerly from Vancouver.
Brilliant stuff. Also, speaking of brilliant, Sandy Treliving, a philanthropist, this woman at the forefront of trying to create Women Mind, research and science and creating a community of philanthropists and scientists committed to closing the gender gap. So she'll be our guest as well.
Okay, time for this.
Well done.
Oh, Surrey police are back in the news again. And yes, my husband is the chief. And the province came out this week and said, okay, enough of this.
Yep.
We're going to cancel the agreement with the RCMP, and the Surrey Police Service will be the police of jurisdiction November of this year.
29th of November, right?
Yeah.
Right. Why not tomorrow? Like what? I mean, this feels like a long time coming.
Because their budget has been frozen for almost a year and a half. How about that?
It's just the never-ending story. And on the flip side of that, when you're looking out for public safety, very unnerving for residents of White Rock right now, with not one, but 2 stabbings, one of them fatal. This is really terrifying.
It is, and the suspect sounds like it might be the same person as a black man who's about 5'11" or what have you. Nobody knows what's going on, but there is a killer who has not been caught, who smiled when he walked away after killing the person. Not okay. Also not okay is the idea of Robert Pickton, the serial killer.
How are we doing this?
Who is up for parole coming up in 2027, I believe. And now a dozen mayors in Metro are writing to the federal government saying he should never get parole, and I'm with you.
He's a serial killer. What are we talking about here?
Don't get to murder women and chop them up and then get parole. That's not going to happen.
Let's hope that common sense prevails
right.
in this particular scenario. Also, did you you live downtown at 420? I was expecting it at Sunset Beach, and
wah, wah. Well, it didn't really happen. A bunch of people went to show up. That's an old picture.
That's last year.
But they had fencing and what have you, and they just said, we're going to confiscate all of your stuff that you're going to try to sell. And so people were walking around going, where's 420? Didn't happen this year. This is a reminder of what it looked like last year.
Yeah.
Oh, a ton of people at 420, and people are saying, well, this is not right. The province and the city should embrace it and use it as a tourism thing. And I was like, great, let's legitimize it by you get a permit and you pay your appropriate costs in order to host your event.
It's called a farmer's market. You don't do it at the beach where you destroy the grass so people can't use the beach.
Right.
I'm not against the 420
no,
vibe.
Me neither.
Pay for it. Do
Play
your
by the
thing.
rules.
It's just, yeah. Okay, where else are we going here? Oh, Metro residents moving out of Metro Vancouver.
Oh, not really a surprise, but half of people surveyed said, I'm thinking about leaving. And a quarter of those people are saying, I'm gone in 5 years.
Not surprising. We'll put that under the heading of not surprising. A lot of sad news today as we lost a legend in the sports media world in Bob Cole passing.
50 years as a broadcaster, and everybody grew up listening to that voice on Hockey Night in Canada.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, so we thought we would reach out to our own famous
legend,
sports broadcaster legend, Don Taylor. Don, tell us how you're feeling about Bob Cole.
Oh my gosh, sad day for hockey fans, Canadian hockey fans, Canada in general. Such a legend. Order of Canada member, Hockey Hall of Fame member, and for me as a kid, I grew up in a hockey crazed family, and we all remember Bob Cole from Hockey Night in Canada on television. CBC Radio, this is how old I am, used to run Sunday night hockey. They'd have a game. It was always from the States too, which when I was a kid was unusual. And Bob Cole would often do the play-by-play for those games on radio, and my hockey-obsessed brothers and father would listen to that. And you just knew right away, even as a kid, I knew that this guy was something special, and he brought a game alive like nobody else. And his love for the game really came through. And a nice gentleman, and man, he'll be missed.
A 50-year career. All right, we have to talk about the playoffs. So the Canucks, doing okay, and Demko out. I mean, how are you feeling about the team's chances in the first round?
Well, you just said it there though. Demko out. He did make the trip with them, so I guess that's kind of promising. If his knee was really, really bad, I'm sure it's bad enough for him to miss the entire first round, but he wouldn't be making the trip and walking around and things like that. I think if they play, certainly they won game one, so that's fine. I think if they play the same way they did in game two, with that effort level and that intensity, just get a lead on those guys. Don't allow them to go back in a shell the way they did. They had 84 shot attempts, and their effort level, I thought, was off the charts. I'm not just saying this as somebody who grew up in Vancouver, but as I'm trying to be an impartial hockey observer here. I thought, Nashville just sat back and waited, and I just don't think they can sustain that over the course of a best-of-7 series. I think if the Canucks play the same way, the key would be to get a goal, so maybe get a goal early, so maybe, they would. Nashville would have to open up. Yeah. It's a tough wall to break through when a team is playing like that with a 1, 2, or 3 goal lead, and they don't care about entertaining people, at least not on the road. I just think the way the Canucks played, that intensity, that work ethic, I think that's going to serve them well. I still think they're going to be fine. I'm not going to say no matter who's in goal, but Casey DeSmith is good enough to get them through this series, I think.
There it is. You never know. That's why they play the games, right? And that's why you have a post-game show like you guys have every single playoff game for the Vancouver Canucks. We can tune in, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. I just filled in my overtime sheet just moments ago.
Ka-ching,
So,
right?
yeah, yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's going to continue. But yeah, after every game on CHEK TV, and the best part of it for us, and you talk about broadcasting icons, hockey icons, we've got John Garrett.
Cheese in the house.
Now, if you've been laid off as a broadcaster or you're retired, you guys know this. Although you look young enough that I don't know why I'd even mentioned the word, the two of you, retirement or retired. But this is where people come. And John Garrett, who's so good, is joining us after every game. And Linda, you just talked about Thatcher Demko. It's perfect because, well, it's not perfect. He's not playing. It's not perfect for Canuck fans. But with Casey DeSmith there, maybe we see Artur Shilovs. John Garrett's an old goalie. He played in the National Hockey League. He played in the playoffs. He knows all about that position. So to have him on our show with Rick and Ryan is really, really special.
Have a good show and go Canucks. Thanks, Don.
Anytime. Thanks so much.
Got to tune in. Live local coverage. You tune in immediately following the game. Just click over to CHEK and watch those boys.
So go Canucks and go Oilers tomorrow night.
That's right.
Okay, coming up, women's mental health. It's being ignored, and guess what? It's being underfunded too. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
But first, your viewing party, right? Viewing party at CHEKmedia.ca. Who's in on this? Dennis in North Cowichan. Hello there.
Hey, Kathy and Langley. Thanks for sending the photo. Another Canucks fan.
Love the jersey. We got Belinda and Shannon in Kamloops. Hello, ladies.
And Laura, Kevin, and Gizmo. Hey, whoa, double up with the, she's a Leafs fan.
There you go.
Okay.
It's allowed.
Yeah.
We'll allow it. Viewing party at CHEKmedia.ca is how you get in on the fun. Just tell us where you're watching from.